Hi, welcome to the channel. My name is Richard and I am the bull rider. And today I wanted to talk to you about the Pre LP Lamborghini Gallardo. And if you looked at any videos regarding the Pre LP Lamborghini Gallardo from 2004 to 2008, you're gonna notice that there is so many videos giving this car such a bad rap, saying it's dated, saying that it's aged, saying that it is so understated, but it's not a real Lamborghini because, you know, it doesn't have this aggressive styling like the new ones have. And I really think that this car gets such a bad rap. The Lamborghini Gallardo was produced from 2004 to 2014, with the first edition that I call the Pre LP produced from 2004 to 2008. And this car, comparative to the later cars, has very modest styling, very understated styling characteristics. And I think that this is why it gets such a bad rap. It doesn't have, comparative to the newer cars, it doesn't have the aggressive headlights, it doesn't have the aggressive bumper with the big inlets, it doesn't have the aggressive tail lights like the newer Lamborghinis have. By the end of this video, you're gonna know exactly why I think the Pre LP Lamborghini Gallardo is such a steal on the used market and why I think it is this beautifully classic, understated styling that is gonna make it $1 million car one day. And I want to look at one historical reference and I want to show you why I think this is. So if we look at the LP 400 Countach, the original one, the one without the wings, not the S, not the Quattro valve, nothing like that, the original LP 400. This car was produced from 1974 all the way up to 1978. When it was released at the Geneva Motor Show in 1973, it really epitomized what Lamborghini was trying to do with its brand and where it was trying to move into. But it showed also such a distinct shift from the cars of the past, like let's say the 300 GT or the Mira, with what it is trying to do in the future. And the Countach really epitomized that. It also epitomized this poster-worthy car that would be on everyone's wall for the next 50 years. And it still is classically a Lamborghini. You drive this car down the street and you know exactly what it is. If we look at the styling characteristics of this car, there's something very interesting about it. If we look at the front bumper, for instance, it's so beautifully understated. It has this wonderful tapered V shape, but it doesn't have aggressive splitters, aggressive undertrays. It doesn't have any sort of aggressive styling characteristics. It's beautifully understated and Italian all at the same time. And then moving on to the headlights, there's nothing grandiose about them. There's nothing over the top about these headlights. And you know, you have the ones that pop up so you can drive at night, but it's understated, but it's also overstated and futuristic at the same time. Moving to the side profile, we have this wonderful NACA duct that I think everyone loves, right where the door handle is. And I think it's just this elegant Italian design. The lines on the car just flow so smoothly. It looks futuristic, but it also looks very contemporary at the same time. And I think it was just a beautiful, elegant car that was originally conceived as this wonderful piece of driving engineering. And looking at the rearward of the car, the same kind of design philosophy continues. We have these wonderful louvers on the back of the rear tires that arguably don't do anything, but they're there and they were classically styled and they were intentionally designed to be there for a reason. And moving on to the rearward of the car, we have this beautifully, again, understated rear end with these beautiful taillights that are just simplistic, but they're also futuristic at the same time. So you might ask, okay, great. We know what an LP400 looks like. It's been around for quite a long time, but I want to relate it back to the Pre LP Lamborghini Gallardo. And I want to show you why the LP400 is such a spiritual grandfather to the Pre LP Lamborghini Gallardo. And why I think the Pre LP Lamborghini Gallardo is such a future classic is because of its beautiful, understated styling characteristics. This short bumper gets such a bad rap because in 2009, the LP 560 came out and they had these wonderfully aggressive front inlets. But I think that the Pre LP has its own beautiful styling characteristics right from the factory. And I think it's so understated and so classic Lamborghini. It's not trying to be ostentatious. It's got beautiful styling lines. It has these wonderful inlets for the radiators, and it shares that same sort of design hierarchy that the LP400 has as well. And one thing I really don't understand is why these headlights get such a bad rap. The headlight isn't trying to be ostentatious. It isn't trying to be over the top, and it isn't trying to be aggressive and angry. And I think that's what the Pre LP epitomizes overall. It's not trying to be something that it's not. It's not trying to be an angry car with an angry driver behind the wheel. It's a fun and elegant Italian car that's meant to have fun. It's a very fun car. Moving on to the side profile, I really think that the Pre LP has this unmistakable Lamborghini side profile that even 20 years on is so unmistakable and so timeless. And it really shares that same sort of design philosophy and hierarchy as the LP400 Countach. We have this wonderful air inlet coming in from the side. It's using functional aerodynamic characteristics to let air into that inlet, but gracefully. It's not trying to be over the top. It's just trying to be functional, but also elegant at the same time. Moving to the top rear of the car, we have the air inlet for the engine. It's functional. It gives in the right amount of air that the car needs and nothing more. Moving to the rear of the car, this is where the Countach heritage just shines through so much. And I'm talking about these wonderful rear louvers right next to the taillights. And it's just such a nice design philosophy, such a wonderful continuance of heritage from the LP400 to the Pre LP Lamborghini Gallardo. But unfortunately, in 2009, they did away with this. And I think it's kind of sad because you lose some of that design philosophy and that design heritage that this car has with the Countach. And the same with the taillights. They're, again, so wonderfully understated. And inside, they have these wonderful hexagonal patterns that really tie together the whole entire car. And I think it wouldn't be this car without these taillights. And I think that it kind of blends everything together and it makes it look like a complete package. And lastly, considering that the Pre LP Lamborghini Gallardo came out literally 30 years after the first LP400 rolled off the production floor, I think it's just such a testament to that car, the LP400 and the Pre LP Lamborghini Gallardo, in terms of what Lamborghini's vision for the future was and what kind of design philosophies that they wanted to implement in the future. And I think it's from that aspect alone, I think it's a beautiful testament to Lamborghini engineering, what they can do, and how the design has been so timeless over the last 20 years. And I think moving forward, I think that the classic understated styling characteristics that the Pre LP Lamborghini has is really going to come into its own light. And I think it's going to be appreciated for exactly what it is, with the understated bumper, the understated taillights, the understated louvers on the back of the right next to the taillights. And I think that for all these reasons, it's going to be a classic Lamborghini. And I think if you want one, you're going to have to pick one up very soon, because it's not going to take long for people to realize that this is a very special and very unique piece of automotive history. And with that, I want to thank you for watching. And if you like this video, please consider giving it a like. And until next time, thanks.